Hello. So nice to meet you at this daily motivational meeting, reading quotes from world scriptures. We reading scriptures from the beginning. Please find all the chapters at our Message to Billions channel. And these quotes are helping billions of people globally. It will help you too, because this is quote to empower you with the positive vibe. Nowadays we are reading part of the book, How to Avoid Mistakes, and the chapter of today is The Path of Tears. Kisa Gotami had an only son and he died. In her grief, she carried the dead child to all her neighbors, asking them for medicine, and the people said, "She has lost her senses. The boy is dead." At length, Kisa Gotami met a man who replied to her request. "I cannot give you medicine for your child, but you know a physician who can. Go to Sakyami the Buddha." Kisha Gotami replied to the Buddha and cried, "Lord and Master, give me the medicine that will cure my boy." The Buddha answered, "I want a handful of mustard seed." And when the girl in her joy promises to procure it, the Buddha added, "The mustard seed must be taken from the house where no one has lost a child, husband, parent, or friend." Poor Kisa Gotami now went from house to house, and the people pitied her and said, "Here is the mustard seed, take it." But when she asked, "Did a son or daughter, a father or mother die in your family?" the answer her, "Alas, the living are few, but the dead are many. Do not remind us our deepest grief." And there was no house, but some below one had died in it. Kisagotami became weary and hopeless and sat down at the wayside, watching the light of the city as they flickered up and were extinguished again. At last, the darkness of night reigned everywhere, and she considered the fate of men, that their lives flicker up and are extinguished. And she thought to herself, "How selfish am I in my grief? That is common to all. Yet in this valley of desolation there is a path that leads him to immortality who has surrendered all selfishness." Putting away the selfishness of her affection for her child, Kisagotami had the dead boy buried in the forest. Returning to the Buddha, she took refuge in him and found comfort in the Dharma. Further, let's read the quotes from the Tsenka Messiah, Father Samuel Moon. Adam and Eve, and certainly God shed tears over their fall. Adam and Eve wept not for themselves, God also shed tears, but for whom? The Father of mankind shed tears for children who faced expulsion from the Garden of Eden due to their violation of the heavenly law. God wept not for himself, but for his children. Those tears themselves were tragic. Human history began in tears, and for God, also history began with tears. Human beings live in misery, but so does God. Humans truly deserve to shed tears for their sin. But God does not deserve to shed tears. The history of tears that began with the first human ancestors has expanded down through the generation of all mankind through the world. Human history is stained with the repeated tears of suffering and struggle and broken heartedness. People hurt each other and suffer oppression by those above them. No one has been able to put a stop to the tears of history. People ordinarily grieve for their own misfortunes. Nevertheless, more than for ourselves or for our family misfortune or our nation misfortune, we should grieve for the world pain. Everyone has been grieving over his or her own misery, or at best, or their family sorrows, or their nation's suffering. But what they should focus on is the sorrow of the world. For this, we have to change and reverse the purpose of tears. We still grieve, but for a different purpose. We need a reorientation to the other kind of tears, the tears that God shed when he wept in sorrow over the situation of humankind. God's eyes always filled with tears, but his tears are for others, never for himself. Where can we truly find happiness? First, we should find a way to overcome our own tears. Then we should overcome the conditions over which God shed tears. Then we can find happiness. Why? The history of tears for both God and human beings may begin as a result of the human fall. Therefore, we should return to the time before the fall when there were no tears. It is our destiny to go over these two hills of sorrow, tears, human tears, and God tears. Those who are traveling the road of truth should climb these two hills of tears. We should shed tears over the misery of humanity and test many situations of human suffering. While others may live in blissful ignorance, we should grieve over the problem of human life and from fundamental questions down to the prevailing condition of society. Some young people in particular agonize about such things, and those who do not have such experiences cannot live a true life. While we overcome our own sorrow, we should also seek ways to alleviate the suffering of the world. Nevertheless, grappling with the suffering and the misery of human life is not sufficient to bring a lasting solution. We must go deeper and uphold the fundamental cause of tears. This means reversing the initial tragedy that caused God and human beings to shed tears. Yet no one could comprehend a method for doing this. The tears we shed for ourselves or for our nation on the human level alone cannot be helpful for reaching the ideal world. They are still within the realm of selfishness, being merely the continuation of the tears of the fallen Adam and Eve shed for themselves. What then should we do? We should discover another realm of tears, the tears of God's sorrow. We should deeply experience their test, then surmount them. Otherwise, we cannot um, establish the basis of human happiness. This means learning how to shed tears that transcend our own suffering. First, we should discover God and experience His tears. Then we should willingly walk the path to alleviate God's suffering. Yes, so interesting quotes. If you have difficulties, please watch one more time this video and share this video as we end this video on Happy Life Subscribers Marathon. And very important message: to be true happy, you're supposed to understand God's suffering and alleviate it. Let's do it today, every day, every second. Contact me for consultation, cooperation, or to become a member of Heavenly Parents Holy Community globally, and comment how these quotes are helping your life. Stay happy, healthy. Wish you a great, blessed day. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye bye.